We're live, but we got tick, 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 tick. It takes forever.
It's
I'm hardwired in, so I don't have the Wi-Fi anymore.
Okay, well, it's on there, bro. We're live.
All right, we're live, bro. We're live. Hey, good evening, everybody. I know people are out there listening to the Quantum Blue show right now. Me, Baggio Life with the new avatar. I've got Johnny Warrior with us.
Yes, I'm here.
With his avatar, it looks like he's in an undisclosed location.
Actually, no, dude. That's just my dining room with Gib.
Okay, well, whatever. Let me drop this. I'm going to do this. So how are things going? I know you relocated. I am doing something real quick.
Okay. Well, guys, tonight what we wanted to do is we scheduled this earlier, and we're not trying to be in direct conflict with Quinton Blue, but we understand, everybody's over there, but that we're an hour after, so we're being respectful of it. So
people will migrate anyway eventually.
Well, when they're done, we'll be yapping when they're done. They usually don't last more than an hour and a half, too, sometimes.
Yes.
So what we're trying to do tonight is we're going to have a little bit of a conversation, and think of it more like a leadership roundtable on community tolerance and some of the things that just have like a constructive conversation with the things that are going in. And, Eric and I and Gib and a couple other expats have talked in the background. And what we want to do is just bring to the forefront some of our opinions of what's going on. And
can I say something here? I kind of fucked up. Okay. Can I say I fucked up?
Okay.
And I let myself get dragged into it.
Into what?
What's everything that's happening?
Oh, dude. Well, and we're going to discuss kind of the thing behind that here in a minute. And actually, that's a good lead in.
And you kind of got sucked into it too. So,
well, I got instigated into it really based on, I think I did a pretty good job staying more or less neutral, right? To a point, no, but look, Olo and I, were kind of messing with Bamma a little bit there for a while, but it was more of a joke kind of thing or whatever. And then it started turning serious. And, when they did the attack on the vets, that's when I personally went ape crap. Openly admit that. And that was it. It was on. However, I want to take note about something that's a little different with this than there is some of the stuff in the past. And what we'll do is we'll do a comparative analysis between the atmosphere and environment surrounding the hobo, right? And kind of the atmosphere and environment of what's going on with Backwoods here. All right. So the first thing I want to say is that everybody has gotten sucked into this, because honestly, it's human nature to want to see the collision, so to say, in a train wreck. Everybody wants to see the schoolyard brawl. Everybody wants to rubberneck the accident. Everybody is looking and hoping and peeking to see the dead body. That's just a human nature. And then when you have an atmosphere where there's not a lot going on in an individual's life, and a lot of us expats don't have a lot going on. We're not busy. So what we do is we get sucked into that vicarious habit, that vicarious nature of YouTube, right? So it's totally, is it okay and healthy? I don't know. I don't think to a certain degree it is, but is it totally natural? Of course it is, bro. Everybody's going to get sucked into it, because look at the dynamics. Look at the personality dynamics of what we're talking about here. You're sitting here seeing some very, very intelligent individuals try to strive into, an undirected debate and dialogue, meaning that they're not really on the same the same level or the same, they're never together to do the debate. And when they are even on the same channel together, they're over talking each other, and they're not taking the time to actually sit down and listen, and then rebut logically. It's just this barrage time and over, and it's a tactic that I've used on purpose. You know what I mean? Just talking over somebody and not allowing them to get a word edgewise, and then dominating the conversation through doing that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, a lot of what's going on is, I don't know. I think at this point, what was at one time a bunch of fun and games, right, is now actually becoming a situation where you are starting to see real threats being made. There's real feelings that are starting to be established here. People are getting hurt and getting mad and angry, and starting to develop some animosity towards each other. That now we're at a situation where it could really potentially become an issue. It could really potentially become something that is very, very unhealthy. And what we as leaders do is we try to come together and find a way to correct it, right? To communicate and correct it. No matter, we've done wrong, right? Am I right, Eric? I mean, we got sucked into it.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of bought into it, and I took on the other channel. I took the one video. I privatized the one video because, dude, it wears on you. It does. It wears on you. You start to think about the shit 24/7, and it affects your relationships.
Yeah, and think of the energy that's gone into that. Let alone, look, man, I am a walking asshole. And
I know that.
I know. And it takes everything, every ounce of energy that I have to work on a positive relationship, my personal positive relationships. A lot of people think that it's easy. Gib and I just naturally roll. Gib and I have to communicate a lot, and we're both alpha personalities, and it takes a lot of work in that relationship. Eric, you and I talk a lot, and we work a lot on our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, magnify it between a male and a female that are both alpha personalities.
Well, can
right?
I say something here? I can never be your first sergeant or have you as a commander, because honestly, you and I would roll. I'm honest. You and I could not have that relationship because we would roll.
Yeah. But as far as like my Asawa, I have to work 10 times as hard to ensure that I'm communicating effectively and everything like that. Now we start getting this negative stuff in here. It starts sucking time out of that. And that's where it starts to influence it, because we start, we're prone to mood swings. We're prone to conflict. We're prone to anger issues, and all these other things. You start adding this negativity that's really eating away at you. And that conflict starts to bleed over into your personal interactions.
Okay, now can we look at this whole situation as a whole, as the one side and the one side? And
well, yeah, but before we do that, let's talk about some environmental issues. All right. Now, when we were, we do this cyclic thing. We did this same thing with the hobo when the hobo was in, right? Now, the environment with that was the common disdain for an individual that had no remorse, right? And he had established that he was not going to improve. He was not going to apologize. He wasn't going to anything. Now, the difference on this one is, and this is my opinion, my observation. Okay. Now, I can't talk about both parties, as far as what I see with what's being instigated now, it's more along the Hobbit. He seems to be the one that's continuing the instigation.
Okay, bro, I'll break that down for you in a minute, how it all started.
Okay, well, that's fine. But now when we talk about Backwoods, just not too long ago, Backwoods although it was a prefaced apology because he excluded a couple people, he did make an apology to the veteran communities for the things that he did say against the vets. Now, for me, what does that mean? I prefaced my conversation when I was on him that if he was to apologize for the vets, I was done with the issue. He apologized to the vets, I am done with the issue. But it seems like it's starting to spin out of control on both parties. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, I'm going to preface this. I got nothing against any other shows. I'm not banging on one person. This whole thing started when one person exercised their rights as a U.S. citizen and made a legitimate complaint. And the backwoods took it as they're against me. But he doesn't understand the whole thing that, how can I put that? He doesn't understand the process that people see him on YouTube doing what he's doing. And they have the right as a tax-paying citizen to do that. That's where this whole thing started.
Okay, well, why don't you allude on that a little bit more?
Okay, how? I mean, okay, somebody turned him in to the SSD Waste, Fraud, and Abuse Hotline and was vocal about it. And he took it and that's when it started. The whole thing started to blow up, and then the Hobbit interjected himself into the conversation, which escalated it even more.
Well, okay. Where it started,
and hold on. And it gets even, besides even where it gets started and what pissed me off is that this whole thing that you're analyzing and talking about spilled over into something that didn't even involve both parties. We're talking about the comment on your Operation Backpack.
What was my? I guess I'm not aware of that comment.
Bayou Water Boy.
Oh yeah. Well,
this situation.
Hold on. That whole thing with Bayou Water Boy is something totally different, and it's comical. I not heard about anything.
It's fucking associated with it.
It is, dude. But see, this is where it spirals out. We are all a Philippine expat community. No matter how you slice or you want to shake it up or you want to you want to build it or whatever, period, we are a niche community. People within that niche community has opinions, and they have variable, assumptions, variable comprehension of the issues. The way you and I see things are not necessarily the way I see things is based on my experience, right? My beliefs, my ethics, etc. The way you may say things are the same way. You have different experiences. Your ethics and your beliefs may be different, but that all gets into how we see, how we react, and how we come up with our perception of what the truth is right then and there. Okay. So I guarantee you, if you sat 5 people down, you're going to get 5 different angles on any one thing. That's what is going on with the Water Boy. He hadn't been on the scene for a long time, and then all of a sudden now he's got a flag to carry. And, he's trying to get a voice, which is fine. That's his right. It is his right to speak his mind. Now, I don't know that it's his right to use names, images, or whatever, because that's YouTube guideline. But it is the right for an individual to speak their opinion. And even if it differs from you, it's an opinion. All right. What we end up doing is people get butthurt, and it starts compounding into these sides.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of the conflict is coming now. Now, I know both of them. I'm hoping both sides are completely aware that about half of the audience is playing both sides in order to instigate it and propagate it more. I know that the opposing crew is fully aware of that and exploit that from time to time for entertainment.
I mean, I give it the truth. So hold on for a second. I'm going to mute for a second. Go ahead and continue what you're saying. I'm checking something here.
So, you know, the value of this dialogue, right? Look, we're not here trying to fix or to you know, what we're doing is there's a third side to this whole entire thing, and I'm trying to spur a conversation for that third side to where we're looking at both sides and kind of shaking our head and seeing where it's getting out of control, and maybe even talk about some of the influences that's making that happen and having that occur.
Hey,
you know,
read your hangout. Start reading your hangouts. The hangout, okay? Okay.
I'm sure. So that's kind of where we are, you know, kind of coming from on this, that by looking at both sides and being able to have a conversation about, you know, the people that are in between it and might have opinions differing it. And see, that's the other thing. You've got personalities here in some of this dynamic, that if you have a conflicting personality or you have an opinion that conflicts with the individual's personality, that in itself is going to start conflict, which confuses the hell out of me. Because, hey, what's up, Popeye? Because when you start, you know, having dialogue and you start having communication, hey, Popeye, do you want to come on? Because this conversation is everybody, you know, just shoot Popeye a link if he wants to come on.
Okay,
All right. Just what we'll roll. Well, see, now here we go. All right. See, okay, hold up. So the one thing we're not going to do is nobody's going to control the narrative here other than me and Eric, period. All right. Because this is a different viewpoint. If you don't like the viewpoint, you know, you can go pack sand, kick rocks, do whatever you want to do. All right. But nobody's going to eat shit alive. Not me. I got an opinion and I'll speak it. If you don't like it, you can go elsewhere.
Okay. You know, hold on. We're putting that out that we're going to let him come on too. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Because I got something to say. I got something to say, and it's nothing negative.
No, because the whole thing is, all this is dialogue. It's talk.
We're gonna have talk. Okay. First of all, there you go. I got the link. I have something to say. Okay, we're talking about spillage in the situation. It spilled over to him. It spilled over to Quentin Ballou.
Oh no, and I agree that was totally unnecessary. They drug him in when he had no part of it. There was no dog in the fight of it, and that was the fucked up part about it. You know what I mean? He didn't say anything, and they kept bringing him in. All right, and that's the one thing that out of the whole, you know, some of the people in the dynamics wanted this conflict, and for purely entertainment value, which is fine. It is, like I said, prefacing it. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to. But when there are threats being made, right, that's when the line gets stepped over. And, you know, those threats were at first brought on by Bamma and the Hobbit. There was physical threats made. But outside of that, when we're talking about simple opinions, when we're talking about dialogue, and we're talking about, you know, anything that has course under free speech, you know, then it's just whatever. That's where you pick it up, Eric.
And welcome Quentin Ballou to the show.
Welcome, Dave.
Why does somebody have Triumph the Insult Comic Dog as their icon?
I thought it was kind of cool.
Is that you? No, you're the guys with the masks.
Yeah,
that's me. That actually looks like my dog. It's a spitting image. I couldn't take a better picture.
Looks like Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. I keyed.
I have no idea who the hell that is.
Oh, are you really serious? He was on Conan O'Brien. He's that. Oh,
I don't watch Conan O'Brien, dude.
No, you don't watch it for him. You watch it. It's really bad puppetry. Rottweiler that just goes around and insults people. He harassed Eminem, and Eminem got upset.
I know who the fuck. I do know who that is.
Robert Smigel.
Okay.
Yeah. And the dog has like this Lithuanian Jewish accent. It's hilarious.
Yes. So what our conversation is we're looking at the dynamics of the difference between this issue with The Hobbit and Backwoods there relative to because some of the conversation is that we're guilty of the cyclic abuse. The hobo's gone, so now what are we doing? We're going out and looking at Bamma and The Hobbit, and we're also saying that there's a third view on this, and that there's some of us that are kind of outside of the both of them. I got pulled into it based on a particular topic, and what I had asked for occurred, although it was a prefaced apology, right? An apology was made, and I gotta stick by my word. But when you start looking at the dynamics of both sides, it seems like it's just kind of compounding. Now, there's one part of the variable that is just what it is, and if you don't understand it, and that's the entertainment side, that the fact that a lot of this, there's a portion of this, probably 1/3 of the audience, and some of the panel, this is purely an entertainment thing. And if the opposing party are not
smart enough,
well, I was trying to be nice, man. At the level, right, that they can't identify with that, it's just gonna compound. It's just gonna compound because that's, you look at the audience, 1/3 of the audience on both sides, all right, and yours will be found over in his. And they'll comment positive on his, they'll comment positive on yours, and they're just playing the field in order to instigate the growing, Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Can I put something out? I don't know if Dave heard it or not, but this whole Triple R Bamma feud spiraled into something that I got involved in, Johnny's involved in. Your Bayou Water Boy starting to interject himself into Operation Backpack.
Just ignore him.
Yeah, that we are.
Just ignore the less credence you lend to anything that guy says, he's gonna go away eventually. He'll go into hiding for another 2 years, and he'll come out swinging again when he gets drunk or something.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out, everybody. If you have a wrench, Bamma, Backwoods Boy, and The Hobbit have the link there. Not blocked. Do not block them. Let them make all the comments they want to make.
I think they know, but that's good. You should put that out there.
They look, and here's the thing is that, and a lot of times, a lot of times there's not an open form of dialogue. And the preface that we had this particular show on is what we're trying to do is take an approach where whether we like it or not, and I know that in the past there's been this argument about community responsibility and community involvement. Are we a community? What responsibilities we have to it? Everything like that. I mean, I don't know that legitimately anybody has a responsibility to shit. Under freedom of speech, and the three of us are Americans, and we operate under that. And YouTube is based out of the United States. We have the ability to say what the fuck we want to say and express an opinion. And this bullshit about oh well, you're fucking libel or you're fucking slandering me. Well, go kiss my ass, because if I have an opinion, and I get accused of that all the time. I'm slanderous. How many fucking people want to bring any kind of, how many, well, Dave, you've been threatened with slander, and so have you, Eric. The three of us continuously threatened with slander because we have an opinion.
Yeah, and it's when we have valid opinions. You're correctly pointing that out. You're absolutely right. It's when we have valid opinions about things. It's like the time Johnny talked in that one video about how some police could be bribed here. And that one dude lost his shit and put out a video with a single source of information from the 90s. And I was like, this is the dumbest video I've seen to date. You have no empirical evidence.
Wasn't that the rape culture? Remember
virtually no empirical evidence to back up anything that he was saying, and I called him out on it, and he just like ran away, tucked tail, and ran, then started threatening lawsuits on everybody.
Yeah, and that's where I think, I'm trying to keep this like a positive thing, but damn it, those rabbit holes are starting to become little minefields. What is Focus RS?
He's talking to me. It's a side conversation. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. It's like, all right. So it seems that in our community that the personality continues to develop, right? That the personality of our community, every community has an identity, has this environment, and ours is constantly adapting and moving from one side to the other, but there's this common undertone, and I do think that at a certain degree, it's very responsible, and it is very much appropriate to call things what they are. Calling a spade, and calling out those that are doing wrong, right, is healthy, and it is the right thing to do. And there's part of me that sits here and I watch this and I'm like, damn, okay, it's getting out of hand and it's going to go really, really, bad, go south very quickly if people don't start coming together. But then on the other hand, all right, I look at it and I'm like, every fucking lifeline has been shot across the bow and nobody's grabbing a hold of it. And I don't know if it's because we're having maybe we're, to a certain degree, we're underlining that the observation that, as in your guys' panel, right, there is a level of entertainment value to it. And we're assuming that maybe they are not very aware of that. What if, hypothetically, they may have the same observation, at least on one of them, The Hobbit, right? Because you have to admit there has been a lot of gains on viewer and subs and everything else. What if on that side it's the same thing? To a certain degree, it is a level of entertainment, and it's not so personal. You got to admit that it's at least comprehensible for one of those parties.
Listen, even if I wanted to accept that, remember this about those guys. One of them's been around for 4 or 5 years doing this. The other one's been doing it for nearly 3 years. And you would think by now that the learning curve wouldn't be quite as steep as they've made it. Now, how many times in the past have you heard me call for unity in the community? I've done it 2 or 3 times, once a year normally. I try to do it. And what do these guys think about? What are they worried about? They're not worried about unity. They don't want to be friends with people. They want this kind of tension because it gets them views, and to them and to one big overweight guy with no chins, they automatically assume that translates to dollars at some point. It never has. The people get just as ugly as they can.
Go ahead, Popeye.
All right. I want to speak to that unity thing, and Dave is correct. He has called for it, and I fell in line with that at one point, and lo and behold, I got chastised to no end for saying it. So again, as you pointed out, another lifeline cut. And I fully comprehend the conversation you're all having here. But I am sad to inform you all, you're talking way above their level. Okay? They're they're not going to comprehend this conversation at all. They're just going to like look at that and grab another loose cigarette and a beer. I mean, really, and that's what I see. And I'm not saying that to make fun of them. I'm saying it because it's a fact. And you've even come out and said, Johnny Warrior, that, well, yeah, I know Popeye got a little brash with the e-begging. Well, that's who I am. I'm brash. Call a spade as I see it. And I see all these guys, their crab mentality, some of them YouTubers, their life, because it brings dollars in, and they will do anything to shut you up because they're afraid you're going to crush their monetization, their super chat, their PayPal, or whatever means they have, or a vehicle that drives in the dollars for these guys.
The actual focus wasn't really this. This is not a defense of anybody. All right, what this forum is. Okay, but what this forum is what we're trying to do is communicate to a whole third side of this. Those that are sitting on the outside watching in, right, or watching from and scratching their head to where it's kind of like this. There's probably, and I'm at the point where this, I got to admit that I'm at the point of this, otherwise I wouldn't be having this discussion. But, and I'm not pointing a finger at anybody, all right? Because, you know, to a degree, I've contributed to it and instigated it and participated in it, probably at a higher level in some ways than any of you did, right? Deviously, right? To a certain degree. But, you know, there's a point where and there's some things kind of going on in my personal life that's probably making me view things a little bit differently. I will admit that. But there's a certain point when we're sitting there and we're having conversations with our 8-year-old child, and I'm going to use this as the analogy. When we start to guide that conversation and it goes from the right to the left, and they're wanting to argue or they're wanting to do whatever, we don't go down to their level. We have to be maintain the adult. And I hate to say it, with the mentality, at least on one side of this, right? It seems like we're being pulled down to their level in order to have the conversation because, like you said, Popeye, they're not understanding a lot of this. And they don't have the ability because their life experiences don't allow them to have, look at that sexy ass bitch. The Mexican Jew is on the panel. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? Hey, how you guys doing, man?
And, you know, and you're 100% on that. And Dave, you too. You're right. They can't comprehend that because their life experiences have not given them that kind of positive influence to be able to conduct themselves in that manner. But somebody has to stand up and look at it and shake their head. And I don't know that us reducing all, and, you know, and I say that we're also being totally aware of the threats that have been made. And for you, well, actually for you too, Popeye, now that they're airing out your kids and the derogatory shit they're saying about your wife and all that stuff, right? I mean, at that point, it's even more difficult to have dialogue where it's like you don't want to just choke the fucker out. Yeah. But I don't know how constructive that is. I'm just saying.
It's not constructive at all. And I'll tell you right from the get-go what it does when they put out falsehoods about me or anybody else, and they've done it to me, they've done it to Dave. It is a tactic of a low-level thinking person that does this to shut you up. See? And they think they can fling mud on you and it will stick. It's not going to stick. And as you speak to the third party, let me tell you about a little bit of the comments I get from third party people who are on the outside looking in. They say things like, yeah, go Popeye. That's right. Yes. And they leave coherent comments on my channel. And then I get the other comments like, go hang yourself, take your own life, I did your mama. These are the comments like that. And, and really, I appreciate the third party comments because that kind of emboldens me to say, yeah, I'm saying the right thing. I got this person who's not involved whatsoever telling me that what we are saying and what we are doing is correct.
When we're talking about third party, we're not talking about third party involvement. We're talking about third party opinion. And
that's what I'm talking about too.
Okay. Let me jump in here real quick. The third parties is what's driving them.
No, you misunderstand what I'm saying.
I understand
about
what you're saying.
I'm saying people who are looking are on the outside. I'm talking about good people, Eric. Okay. I'm not talking about the third party that you're thinking about. Okay? I'm talking about the third party that's not fucking involved in this whatsoever. Okay? They're just listening. They make a comment once in a while. They're not in it, fucking period.
Well, maybe I'm not communicating effectively, or what I'm trying to say, but there is a part of this that is not viewing, is seeing the fault and also the stance of both sides. Case in point, I am Dave with your situation. I honestly don't know how you keep as calm as you do relative to the attacks on, not so much you, because you get attacked all the time. Yeah. I'm talking about your wife and your kid. You know what I mean? To me, that would push me over, dude.
No, it's not. It's not going to push me over. It shows the rest of the world what a bunch of grade A morons they really are. Because this is a tactic where you go as low as you possibly can. You can't go any lower than attacking someone's child. So when you got some drunk redneck stock boy from Indiana that gets beat up by his wife live, saying something like that, I take it with a grain of salt, because you just got your fucking man card pulled by your wife. I mean, what does that tell you? Whose wife is being mean? Whose wife is the bitch? I don't get mad at these guys anymore. It's not worth it. It just shows you the kind of trash and filth that are over there. As far as what you were saying earlier about third party, you were talking about third party opinions.
Yeah, the opinion being that on both sides there's fault, and both sides there is, it's the individuals that are like not going to get to pick a side because they're seeing how it's just spiraling out of control. And I've seen when actually the last show Baguio Life and I did, there was a couple comments that actually started this whole thought process. Back when I was still hot to trot on burning ass on them. And there was somebody, and I cannot remember who it is. There was somebody who was in the live chat that was doing a kind of a diffusing positive message that was kind of correlating through the whole entire thing. And nobody was really listening to it. But I just started thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And then I started wondering how many more people out there have that opinion that it's like, but I also saw the same dude trying to give positive message on the other channel. You know what I mean? almost.
Prepper.
Well, expat prepper would count as one, but that wasn't him. Him because I think he was on our show. It wasn't him because I think he was actually on the panel with us. And but he's one. Lost in the Nomad to a degree is Lost in the Nomad is one. He generally has a positive message on both sides, but those individuals that are maybe what I should have said, those that are on the fence. Does that explain it better?
The party poopers, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Lost the Nomad. I love Lost the Nomad. He and I chat offline. He's a party pooper.
Okay, so yeah, the party poopers, so to say. Mexican Jew's a party pooper. He's totally on the fence.
No.
Yeah. On the fence, right?
Okay. He's another example of he made a comment and it spiraled into where he's the topic of conversation over there now.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Mexican Jew.
Oh, he made a comment. He made a comment and became the topic of conversation.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the threats were spiraled out of control, and the threats were made.
Okay, but see, I don't want to throw this down. And this is where I suck at conflict resolution, because to me that makes absolutely no fucking sense. You have to be a complete fucking moron to take somebody like Mexican Jew that's coming to your neighborhood and then start to instigate and lay the fucking road for you getting driven into the fucking ground. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, I mean, you could tell, man. He's a dude that he's scared. He can't handle his own business. He basically said on his other show that, if I do approach him, which I mean, I would never go out looking for the dude. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking 15 years old no more. But if I ever saw him, you know what I mean? Me and him would have a problem. But anyway, he basically said, well, if you see me out in public, you can approach me. I'm gonna tell Filipino to tell the police that you assaulted him. He's a scary little dude, man. You know what I mean? He's a scary little dude, man.
Wow, man. And then Dave, you just actually addressed the fuel to the entire family right there, and it's that one side. And somebody here says, correct, when the trolls get attention, they fuel the fire, and then that troll community, the ones that go on to that third of the population out there that go on to your shows, Dave, like RRR, and then they're right outside the door on the other show, stroking them. Okay, that is the cheering on both the fuel that bases it. Now you guys are at least intellectually evolved enough to where you're identifying it, and that has become a entertainment source. But at least to one of the other party, that is not the case. I'm still suspect that one of them is not. I think he's playing it. I think the Hobbit is fully aware of it and is playing it. That's my opinion.
Of course.
I think he is the aloe of the opposing.
I thought him and Jay. I thought Bamma and fucking Jay had beef before, man. I don't get why that guy vouches for a fucking piece of shit like that. I don't.
Well, the beef that they had, it was over a bar tab, dude. It wasn't anything of substance.
I thought it was Burger King Gate.
I mean, and that's the honest truth. This is way back when I had just gotten to Cebu, so it had to been December of 2016. Jay had just started building the bar, and he had to give it up because of money. And that one, I can't remember his name, the one that took it over. But guy, yeah. Well, him and Jay would be there, and Backwoods would come up and start, and I guess there was a little bit of some tension between an unpaid bar tab And I think that's what that was. So I don't know that it was actually anything that of substance.
Well, I'm pretty sure, man, because when I was down there in Cebu, man, I had went to All Stars, and I even went to Al Gecko, and they said that fucking Bummer was banned from there, man, from fucking trying to pick, because he was mooching and fucking cigarettes and beer in that area. So I mean, at All Stars, and they fucking banned him for it.
Yeah, but Al Gecko doesn't ban anybody, bro. Trust me.
And then I mean, I know fucking Jay was talking about they're all talk and no business, and they would never approach. I remember when they had beef, and Jay was talking shit, saying he was gonna put his hands on Bumma and he was gonna fuck him up and this and that. Did that ever happen? So I guess Jay's full of hot air too. I mean, in that regard. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
exactly. So,
well, I think he might say that to a certain degree, but I think that there's a few of them that he'll address to them that has said things in the past that he knows. I mean, I would hope that the Hobbit guy is smart enough to realize that there's a small portion of the population of this population that addresses them and talks to them that probably is on the fringe of insanity anyway, and it takes absolutely everything in order to control that internal anger, that shoot him in the fucking face, bend you over and rape and fucking pillage your ass kind of attitude. It takes everything to keep that in control in order so that you're not just leaving like dead bodies in the wake. So I'm sure he's aware of that, right? I'm sure he's.
You know what's going to happen now? Swamp Water is going to do a video saying that you threatened to shoot him in the face.
Oh, what? Because I give an example?
Yeah,
he's going
to find a way. He's going to find a way to flip this around and make it sound like you were going to attack him, even though you didn't mention him.
Yeah, the CNN on goddamn fucking YouTube. You know,
that's. I don't. I noticed though. Hey, the whole purpose of him doing that, and we're talking about fucking Bayou Waterboy.
Mm-hmm.
He. Reared his head because he wants the attention, and he got it. Look at he's getting some views. Some people are going over there and watching it. He's getting the attention. So I mean, kudos for him. If that's the kind of information that he puts out, he is playing directly into that bottom feeder fucking section of the community that needs to fuel on that.
I hope he keeps on doing it, man. The whole smoking and drinking and getting stressed out and getting all skinny like he's an AIDS victim. Oh yeah.
Who knows?
I want to get him down to where he's like 50 pounds, man. By the time I get up there, you know what I mean?
I don't want to push the direction of this because I actually sent him a link in hopes that he'd come on to the panel, right? But I don't know that. I'm looking over there and he hasn't even seen it or looked at it, and he knows I sent him a message. So I'm wondering. So I don't want to. Let's not totally scare the dude off to where he's like, "Oh fuck that! I ain't coming on there because it's just gonna eat me up." If you're listening and you want to come on to, and that's for both of them. And you know what? Even Bayou Boy, if Bayou Boy wants to come on here and make a debate,
he's blocked.
Well, unblock him.
Jesus Christ.
What? Did you just get mad? Was that outrage?
Yeah,
oh my God.
That was outrage.
Our big boy is learning. Thank you, baby Huey, for getting mad.
Well, I know. My channel got. Oh, go ahead. My channel got 2 strikes on it already, man. Due to all this, man. I don't know. I don't understand though, because I put up the video of him calling me actually a wetback, and that channel got that video got struck for intimidation.
Wow.
I still have it if you want it back there, Mexican Jew.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, but hey, X-Fat, I'm telling you, you know who's going to get hurt the most in all this? When Jay finally pulls his hands out of Bummer's ass, his lips are going to stop moving, okay? And he's going to have nothing to say. and Bumma's the only one that's going to get hurt, and Jay's going to walk away and go, ha ha ha, I had a great time. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, the deal.
He's unblocked.
Okay, well, if he shows up, we can figure a way to send him a link because that's his dialogue. His dialogue is that he doesn't get the opportunity for like actual dialogue. That's what's motivating him on this. So if we give it to him, let him vent it, and he's going to show himself for the moron he is. Now that's the one,
bro. I had to listen to your partner fucking rant for an hour about that guy.
Oh, yeah, give.
Huh?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
for what he did, okay?
You didn't have to do anything. It's not like it was your job.
It was a captivated obvious. It was a captivated obvious.
You just get a hard on interacting with these guys. That's all.
No, actually, no. I was in a van with him riding across Manila,
Sure you
and I was.
Well, here's the deal.
And
What pissed him off?
And I had to hear about it.
No.
And it got me pissed off because the other two people that were with him were totally ignoring him.
Well, the thing that made him upset, the thing that made him upset was his putting that link and what he said about, and here's the deal. The guy has no idea who I am or who Gib is, right? Yet he wants to throw a link on a fundraiser that we're doing for kids, right? And start attacking character. He was not happy with that at all. His little butt chapness was getting to the point where it was starting to affect things that we're trying to do positive in our community. It wasn't cool at all. Oh, by the way, they did the backpack today. They got all 109. Well, they were a couple short. We were told that the roster was 109. They have to go pick out 4 or 5 more for these kids that didn't get it. But man, they laid it out, Dave. They laid it out. They gave 109 full backpacks. The kids loved them, and then they brought a spaghetti and fried chicken meal to them for the day. Oh yeah, man, they loved it. It was totally a win-win-win situation. And so we've got a second school, so we'll do the same school and a second school next year, and we're fundraising to get the money for that. Do that around April-ish of 2019 is when we're going to do it again.
Good.
At least it's growing. It's cool. I feel good about it.
Just tell Gib, man. He's anytime you do any kind of fundraiser here, you might as well expect criticism from somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, I got Terrence's crew from about a year ago when I was fucking criticizing his crap, which he can't do anymore because he's under investigation for. About 2 weeks ago, somebody reared their head and was like, "Well, I sure hope there's not a negative camp." It was the guy himself, the guy that owns that channel himself, masking as somebody else, was threatening a smear campaign. But the whole thing that he was arguing was, accountability. We're under a 501c3 now, so this whole thing is legit. There's nothing. I'm just a fundraiser. I'm the president of the project, right, of the charter, but it's all being managed by a whole entire committee. So I don't have anything to do with it. I just put in my requests. My requests are filled, but the money is managed through the 501c3.
Oh yeah, the money is managed. I witnessed that firsthand.
Yeah, well, it's double managed, man.
Hey, would you guys tell that fucking dog to shut up? It's not a dog. It's Eric. Shut up, Eric.
Hey, and by I'll kill you. Oh, by the way, this show was on the books since like 8 a.m. this morning.
So,
and by the way, sip Timo. Di ba pare ko?
Oo, sige bakla.
Oh. finally some Tagalog, Tangina. You're doing good.
Oh wow. Just wow.
So,
But then I think you know. See, the direction just totally not. There's like no way. There's this big, huge divide between the dialogue that we're having, which is constructive and honest, at least. You know what I mean? There's no hyperbole in it, and the point to be driven home. And I have no fucking concept how to even begin to build that bridge on how to get to the point.
Well,
Ideas.
I don't know why you want to build it in the first place.
It's just what I do, dude. Come on, we all have our little things.
You can't build something that somebody will not accept.
It's true.
Yeah.
Actually, I think for the Bayou Backwoods Boy, I think Johnny could get through to him.
No.
What?
No way, dude.
Oh, dude,
No
you
way.
really are gone full-blown
You have
fanboy.
no earthly idea what you're talking about. I've dealt with this guy, dialogue with him directly. My wife wanted to punch him.
I
He was
have
so angry
more,
by the time we were done.
I have more chance, right? I have more chance of getting through to Backwoods or the Hobbit than I would. I would have more chance getting through to the Hobo than I would to Backwoods Waterboy.
Damn.
Yeah. The hobo was probably smarter than Bummer, man. I'll tell you that.
Well, the hobo wasn't drunk.
Yeah, he wasn't
Well,
drunk.
I don't know about that, but he was way smarter than those guys. Way smarter. He used to run circles around Bamma back in the day. He had Bamma so pissed off. Bamma was threatened to kill him, kick his fucking ass, all kinds of stuff. I remember that video, man. Bama's acting all cool at first. He's like, "What's Bamma here? Let me just tell you something here. I'll kick your fucking ass." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" That was like, that escalated on a level that PMS can't even do. Holy crap!
Well, let's get to today's panel. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, the one where Roberto Dunn was on there.
Speaking of instigators,
Yeah.
Nah, what video? What video?
It's the latest shill. Roberto was on there. I was on there, but you couldn't get a link in fucking edgewise between
I was asleep.
the Kiwi and Roberto.
Okay, all right. Hold on a minute. Are you saying that Roberto went on to his live cast?
Oh yeah, he hit the shill today, the latest show.
Why would you even? Okay, whatever.
Well,
Maybe they were trying to build a bridge and bring the community together.
there was no bridge, bro. Roberto burnt that.
You know, to build a bridge, you need a wood, you need a hammer, and you need nails. You need an ideology and a concept. Roberto comes with C4 and blasting caps.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
I
tried this several weeks ago. Tried to build a bridge, as you say in homo talk. I tried building a bridge. I went over to the
It's
channel.
not homo. No, dude. You don't get to do that, man. No, don't. No.
Hang on.
No homo talk.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
Okay. You're right. It's not homo talk. I'm sorry. My apologies. I would like to announce to one and all out there, it is not homo talk. Okay. I tried to go over there and build a bridge, as you say, in Professor talk. And what happened? What happened when I went over there? They had on who, what, who, remain, cripple guy, who, what? And I was like, Jesus Christ. I just got the guys to sign off on a truce with these guys because I knew they would understand that kind of dramatic language. If I said truce, they think they're in combat. They really believe that this is their combat because they've never been in real combat before. So like, yeah, man, okay, truce. I said, but you guys have this guy in here trashing me. What the fuck is wrong? Well, we just like to give people a voice. That ain't the right type of voice to give people. You're shitting on me, basically. What kind of way is that to behave and then say you don't have a problem with me? Give me a break.
Was that
these guys have been begging begging for some sort of conflict to get views. And I'm going to tell you something about The Hobbit. That dude is a Klingon, the likes of which you've never seen before. He used to go on Maya and Aloe's old broadcast and try and jump on, or he tried to snake Aloe and I away for his broadcast. He held that debate with Baybots on his channel so that he get all the views. It's just one thing after another. And I'm going to tell you something else. He was schmoozing with that guy, and he was schmoozing with Video Freedom originally. Just so you know, he was over there hanging out Video Freedom all the time. Hey, what's going on? You know, so this guy has always been around kind of seedy characters to start with. So it's not a very unlikely hard connection for me to make between him and Backwoods, as you call him in Professor Talk.
Now, is that the same show that set your wife off?
Huh? What do you mean? When? Where?
Was that the one where the dude was making threats and set your wife off about him?
Who are we talking
Got
about?
your wife all pissed off.
I get threatened all the time.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking about the last time she got fucking set off.
No, that was that was later. That was when he went on that drunken rant and said he was gonna have a contract taken out on me.
Yeah, and he was calling people chomo. That's what threw me off. I mean, man, I can't wait till I meet the guy. I mean, calling people chomos and child molesters, man. Boy, he would never say that to my face. Believe that.
Okay,
Well,
he would never.
That's the point about just. I think goddamn near everybody on this panel would agree that him and just a few other guys say shit because they don't think anything could ever happen. That they're exempt from it and they think it's funny and it's clever and they're getting a pat on the back. They don't think about the second and third order effects when it comes to them. They figure, oh, it's all good. What happens if you're walking through SMC side and us? What are you gonna do? Hey, how's it going, man? It's just YouTube talk. No, it ain't no you. You call me a child molester. It ain't no YouTube talk. You ain't recover from this. You know what'll have to do anything. I don't even have to raise a hand. My wife will walk right over to the police and say, "This guy right here said this about my husband. Here's the video, and he said this about me." It's insulting. You need to. At the very least, he'll get hauled away and questioned.
He already did.
Hey, bullshit and all that other. But that's what I'm saying. This kind of stuff has real world consequences. This isn't a giant country. Yeah, but where do we all go? We're not all hanging out on the northern tip of Samar. We're in the major cities for the most part, except for we're in the major cities typically. We're in Cebu, Davao, and Manila City or somewhere. So the eventuality that you're going to run into somebody that you pissed off is real. It's a real thing. It's one thing if you're in the middle of owning silly like you do in grade school, but when you're saying real world shit that could get people hurt, people aren't going to react the same way when they encounter you.
But I really think that's kind of the element and the factor of this YouTube thing, this new YouTube society, is the fact you have individuals that have so disconnected with the truth of reality that they're making their assumptive reality based on their interactions on YouTube. They're emboldened by it, and they just become complete asses.
Well, they're getting Johnny. They're getting fed by the Tarsier avatar. Okay.
Okay.
And today they were getting fed and emboldened by, like I said, the Tarsier avatar and this other guy that claims he was the first sergeant drinking beer on camera with his bald head that wanted to fight Roberto and the other guy.
Is this the Anglico guy? Supposed Anglico guy?
That's the gray man, isn't it? Or what's his name? White American expat? Who was the Marine
observer from the Marines?
Yeah.
American expat.
Yeah, he claimed to be an Anglico Marine.
Anglico. Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company. No, that would be an easy.
This is what he does. Is trolls for a living.
Well, that would be an easy thing because it's not called if he's post. I'll just give you guys a clue. If he was in first Anglico, I probably know who he is. If he was during the time I was in, or if it was second, Gib would know who he was because Gib was second Anglico. If he was in the 2000s during the global war on terror, he's lying because it's not even called Anglico. It's called Marsoc. They're all combined now. So, I'm highly suspect. Let's put it that way.
Hey, did you guys hear that?
Like...
Johnny, that Bummer apparently has a 7'4" uncle that was a Navy SEAL.
I don't know or anybody that's a Navy SEAL. That would be a movie in itself.
Well, you know what amazes me is since I've gotten involved in this community, I never in my life, and I'm talking about even when I was with 20th Group, have met more fucking SOCOM, MARSOC, Navy fucking SEALs. Holy shit. They all retire and go to the fucking Philippines.
Yep. Yeah. Every single one.
Or the German ones go to Thailand.
That's true also.
I'm just like, holy crap, man.
Yeah. And Al Capone was my great uncle.
I just don't understand why he's one of those guys that has to just make a bigger, like something better about himself or try to. It's like it's always this constant lies, man. And people actually believe it. Like, oh yeah, he has a 7'4" uncle that's a Navy SEAL. I was like, dude, are you kidding me? That'd be the biggest soldier in U.S. history, probably.
In actuality, bro, it's not that difficult to understand why he does what he does. And honestly, okay, and this is serious and positive. I'm not bagging the guy. He is literally, and this is not an excuse, a product of his environment and his upraising. His confidence issues, his his self-identification or inability to self-identify, his sense of definition of reality, those are all things that influences his conversations, and he feels that he can't portray himself honestly or within the community in a manner that's going to be given equality, and he's just going to be automatically judged and assessed. To a certain degree, that's true. I mean, we're all guilty of doing that, even to each other. But
that's true, I guess. But I think that he's in the Philippines, and there's a lot of misfits. There's a lot of guys that have shady pasts in the Philippines, so he should fit right in. He shouldn't have to lie about anything.
Okay. The land of reinvestment.
Okay, Johnny.
Okay.
Help me out with this one. Okay. How come he felt uncomfortable sitting in the front room of the Westpac Sailor?
Who?
Backwoods boy.
Oh God!
I didn't even know.
Bring this up.
Well, I didn't even. I've never heard of this. What did he say?
When he did his little pilgrimage from, I guess, Cavite to Subic, he messaged me, says, "Hey, where can I get Western food?" I'm in Barangay Barreto. I said, "Okay, try the Westpac Sailor. They do this, and this is the breakfast, and they got this." And I said, "You recommended there to eat?" He went there, and he goes, "I'm never eating there again because they didn't make me feel welcome."
Well, okay, and this isn't being rude, but I don't give a shit how long you served in, whether it was 2 years or 20 years. There's a certain demeanor, there's a certain character that we can all see. We just know, right? Man, I'm fat and out of shape, and the Filipinos know that I was in the military. So there's something I'm doing that's portraying that. And trust me, I try very hard to be as non-military as possible because I don't want that identification where I live because I'm in knee-deep in MPA country. I really don't need that, right?
Yeah, you are.
But so of course he's gonna feel uncomfortable. I bet you every motherfucker in it, because there's some salty, crusty motherfuckers that are regulars there.
They sell with Popeye.
Well, I said salty and crusty. I didn't say fucking old and ancient. You know, at least these guys.
Listen here, youngin. Just stop
Yeah.
your bad mouthing the old folks now.
Pull your corncob pipe out of your ass for a minute. So what he did is he went in there, and I guarantee you, because the first time I went in there, Gib and I walked in there, you know, they eye you up. They're sizing you up. That's just what they do. You know? But then, you know, they see you and meet you, and you talk to them and kind of go out of your way. It's great. I love West Pakistan, man. Of all the
VFW group?
Yes. It's the Barretto VFW up there. And they're what it is the front end is a cafe that anybody can go to. And that's how they kind of raise money for the VFW, is through their breakfast, lunch, dinner deals. And it's good food. Great chili cheesesteak and the breakfasts are the bomb, especially after a drunken stupor. You go in there and you chill out and you relax. It's one of my favorite places to go. I love it.
But you got to admit, it's quite intimidating to walk into a place where you don't fit in. Okay? And it's like that. You said it correctly. He probably walked in, they eyeballed his ass, and he got intimidated. I mean, that's what happens when you're a beta motherfucker. Okay?
You know what happened? He walked in there and saw your
I tell you not to go into the VFW.
He went in there and he saw Popeye's reserve seat with the avatar and said, "Oh my God."
They don't even know who Popeye is. We tried to name drop and they said, "Who?"
Yeah. Quit trying to turn me into a myth or a legend, man. All right? I'm not dead.
Humor on this show? Oh my God.
Oh my Dave. Come on now.
Johnny's been working on
you.
with me. So.
Now, I'm gonna tell a sea story.
When
I got out,
okay.
I know. When I got out, I went right to college at Arizona State University. I got my first bachelor's while I was in, and I decided that I wanted to go to business school. So of all places, I went to ASU, and I joined the VFW out of Tempe. And at that time, the post commander was one of the last remaining Navajo talkers. He was a badass. I mean, nobody told war stories in the VFW when he was in. But the VFW was in a strip mall, and they had two sections of it. There was the bar and the restaurant, and then over there was this, one of those places that they rent out to do parties and all that stuff. Well, on a Saturday afternoon, I was in there actually trying to study and drink beer at the same time, because if you're going to study and drink, you need to take the test drunk. So I was kind of testing that theory a little bit. And the post commander was there, and there was a few other guys, and they were shooting the shit. And there was a wedding going on next door, and the two guys came into the bar, which they weren't supposed to because there was alcohol over there. And they started being rude to the girl that was the bartender. You don't ever be rude to a VFW bartender, first of all. It's just not a good move. Secondly, everybody stopped what they were doing and turned to these kids. And the post commanders told the guys that as they're running their mouth, he says, "You need to go back over there because this is a private section. You've got your alcohol over there." It's like, "Well, it looks like a bar to me," running his mouth and everything. He said, "I need you to stop for a minute and look around." It got quiet, and he says, "You need to understand that everybody in this bar at one point in time were paid to kill people." Of course, an exaggeration, but it got quiet, and the kids turned around and went back to their party. To this day, it's made an impression to me. And I think that mentality, especially at a VFW, can be a little bit intimidating. Are you really doing the cricket thing on me? What the fuck, motherfuckers? I tell a story, everybody laughs, and the cordial Popeye does this shit. I tell a sea story, and you motherfuckers get quiet. What's wrong with you guys?
I don't laugh at. Oh, they're not funny. Why would I laugh at yours?
Well, Popeyes usually entails monkeys doing some kind of sexual act.
Popeye probably fell asleep.
Yeah. He's here. Okay, maybe he did.
Maybe he's went to have a quintessential emotion.
I just want to tell you all, There's only one quintessential emotion, and that is
Okay, that was kind of
kiss my ass, you motherfuckers.
that was
That was so cheesy.
So back to the Odd Couple.
well. Hold on, I thought that this whole thing was about tolerance and community.
Yeah,
It is.
where's
Turn
your
into the
tolerance?
Oh yeah.
Odd Couple.
Okay.
Show me your
Hey,
tolerance.
you know what? One thing I learned when I hit W76 in San Antonio, the oldest VFW in the United States, was that the people that were the shittiest military members are now the most patriotic people on the planet.
Yes.
You start talking to them and you get their story and you're like, wow, you were a bald piece of shit when you were in the Army, man. Fuck it, man. I got drafted. Whoa.
Wow. Dude, you started talking and that guy, Mr. Whatever, says a homo says what? I don't get it.
Well, you know what? He was over kissing their butt, all he says.
Does anybody know who this guy is?
No.
Oh, all right. So yeah, no.
Don't really care.
I guess maybe we're using the dynamic duo over there as an example in tolerance and community, but
Yep.
you know, they're not the only. Well, no, they are pretty much the only ones now, aren't they? But in general, in general, you know, a lot of people are saying that it's cyclic and that what happens is because there's no hobo, there's a void and it's trying to be filled with whatever. And I actually argue against that. I think.
Me too.
Well, what's your opinion on that then, Dave? Before I go into mine, what's your opinion?
Opinion is that there are plenty of bad people out there, and they're ugly. Fuck with their scams. The minute you start messing with their scams over here, it becomes just as ugly. There's enough of them over. You could never run out of scammers to talk about.
I think that's a fair assessment. That's a good assessment because you know that's what I was going to say. If it wasn't going to be them, at some point, you know, at the beginning, Eric and I were at the show. I think you guys hadn't come on yet. We were trying to you know communicate how there is 3,000 subs. Clue 1. Who's got 3,000 subs?
I think he's trying to state who he is. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Who the fuck cares?
You are.
So,
I really don't care.
Here's the concept of what we were trying to establish on that is, you know, whether we like it or not, we develop a community. You know, we make this Philippine community. Not everybody in it is in the Philippines, but everybody has a common dialogue about the Philippines and Philippine expats. So it formulates a community. There's naturally going to be a section of that that's going to self-police. You know, that's that whole aspect of what we are. That you know we don't want external involvement in it. We're adults, we're leaders, we're whatever, and we're going to self-police and try to self-correct. And that's what happens. So if it's not going to be them, of course it's going to be somebody else. It's going to be somebody else. It's just to what degree is it that it stops. And honestly, looking at it, the concept of having the illusion or this illusion of grandeur that you're above and beyond everything to the point where you don't think anything is going to happen or there is going to be no repercussions. I'm here to tell you that at a certain point, you know, there's a core of a core of the base that it gets tired of the dialogue on video or, you know, the back and forth and everything like that. And there will be action taken. And, you know, maybe it took a long ass time, but the hobo felt it. didn't take so long for douchebag, you know, to fill it, and he bolted and is gone. The same to sit there and think that it's not going to happen. That's just you're fooling yourself.
Well,
you know what I mean?
On that side of it, though, if you listen to them, they've got this arrogance and this attitude is that I'm a Kano, I'm an Aussie, and I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
That nothing's going to happen to me. If this happens, that happens, then the cross between an Oompa Loompa and a Hobbit says, well, yeah, just throw a couple thousand pesos at them and it'll be okay. It'll be fixed. That statement has been made. I've done it. I've paid this and this and this and took care of it. So,
Popeye, what did you mean that you don't care about his self-worth and Baguio, no content on his channel? I'm lost. I'm trying to catch up.
We're talking about the guy that Popeye put in timeout. There's no content. He said he had 3,000 subs. I clicked over to the channel and there's no content on it.
What I'm actually saying there, AxFat TV, is that these guys view their self-worth through how many subscribers they have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that the guy was saying that he was another person with 3,000 subs, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, Dave. I don't think it was. I think he's using his troll account, and that's what it was. So
I don't know anybody with exactly.
Yeah, ain't me.
No, not me either.
Yeah, man, he's so worried about YouTube, man. Bamma and those guys, fucking. I mean, they live their life through YouTube. I mean, if he had that much energy to actually fix his teeth and go and look for a job, then he'd be doing a lot better in life. But
and what we actually said, I don't know if Popeye heard it or not. When we started the show, we kind of timelined it back to when this whole thing started.
Well, yeah, but also it wasn't the dialogue wasn't focused on who started what.
No, but I'm just saying that's when this whole thing kind of started to implode.
Well, yeah, because look, you can't. It's no defense in who started it because they did. Period. And they drug what they did with Dave. They drug him into it. They forced Dave's hand into it. You know what I mean? And irregardless of the instigation prior to the shit that was starting to be pulled on the other side, it was just dialogue back and forth and opinions and whatever. Like I said, everybody's got Popeye has his right to his opinion. If he feels that he is identified a scammer, right? He has the right to make that opinion, make that statement. You have the right to defend yourself, but again,
that defense went too fucking far.
Exactly. And that's where it started.
Now you've got, I can't say it, but after the fact, Dave is the one that said, I don't give a fuck. I am 25% of this one show. The same way that, hey, I get to Facebook. Are you with us or against us?
Well, Dave, I don't know what it is about your personality, dude. For some reason, you get drug into shit like it was cool. Like you are the fucking mastermind of all evil in the Philippines.
I know why I get drug into it. It's because I still carry myself the way that I carry myself in the Army. I'm not bragging about it, but I'm always going to be that guy. I may not wear the uniform anymore, but I'll always have that that direction that I pick to go in. And people, for some reason, it pisses some of these betas off, man. It makes them really angry when I speak with confidence and I say, this is what we're going to talk about today, and I could talk about a plethora of different things. They get really upset about that kind of stuff. They don't like it. So they automatically assume that I'm the one in charge of it all. I'm the one with my finger in everybody's pot, and I'm steering things a certain way, which is just a crock of shit. It really is. here's the problem. We have a lot of alpha guys on our side, for quite a few, and we all have similar thought process when it comes to dealing with idiots like this. They can't fathom that. They can't fathom not having somebody hold their hand and help them out. So obviously, somebody's got to be controlling everybody.
See, that's where I'm in personal conflict, Dave. And I'm actually trying to take this time in here in the States to reassess and redevelop that whole scorched earth policy that I am absolutely guilty of. Because and this is not being funny. I really don't want my kid growing up thinking that I'm some angry, freaking disgruntled, fucked in the head. You know what I mean? I don't want that. I deal with that with my dad. Okay, I'm not airing my laundry. I deal with that. He did 2 tours in Vietnam, got picked up with the NSA, went to Cambodia, did a bunch of shit there, and it's really carried him through. On top of the fact he's been on oxycodone for 11 damn years because of his back. He's totally an opioid, so he gets that Jekyll and Hyde thing going on with the opioid addiction. So, you know, I don't want to be like that. And I'm trying so hard to be positive. I'm trying so hard to be understanding. I'm trying so hard to be non-confrontational. Why the fuck is it? It seems like to me, everybody forces my hand and puts me back into those fucking boots where they want to put my back against the wall and I do the only thing I know how to do. Explain that. Why do people force me to be that way?
I don't get that impression from you, JW. I really don't. And what I do get from you is that when you man hug me and I feel your soft, supple bosom, all is right with the world, brother. I really don't get that attitude from you at all when I talk to you. And you just can't let people drive you to that point. You have to be disciplined.
Well, it's not a matter of discipline.
Stay out of that.
Yeah, that's not a factor of discipline, Popeye. And I'm not trying to be confrontational on that or defensive. It's
don't take it that way.
I for the longest time, and I think I've got a little bit more slack in the knob now, but it used to be a switch. It was literally my personality trait was on off. I was either cool or I was fucking aggressive, and that was it. And at least now I went from a switch to 3 channels. You know, I gotta, and I'm trying to expand that a little bit more.
Well, hey, Popeye, I can honestly say the douchebag that left drove him to put the boots back on to become that person.
Oh yeah, I like. And I'm not totally proud of everything that I should have probably been a little bit more. But when he got my Asawa involved with it and the threats that he made, it was one thing when it was just me, but when he brought other people into it, and that's what why Dave probably goes cross-eyed when I tell him I don't understand how he's so patient with what he does. To me, Dave's being extremely patient. Man, I would have been. That motherfucker would have had a SWAT team in his house if there was any way I could have got it, you know, for making a threat like that.
Yeah, you know, well, you have to defend your family. You have to defend your position.
Popeye, he didn't just drive JW back. He put the other guy back into a place where neither any of them wanted to be at.
Huh? What are you talking about?
We're talking about the artist formerly known as JW and the other half of Expat TV. They were driven back in. They were pushed back into putting the boots back on, going to that place where they were trying to get away from.
Yeah, I fully comprehend that Baguio life, but all I'm saying is, you know, don't mistake it for, you know, flipping a switch. At some point in time, you have to defend yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right with that. You gotta make your stand. I'm just so fucking tired of feeling like I have to make a stand on everything. I guess maybe what it is. Maybe I'm too sensitive. or defensive. That's maybe it. Not sensitive, but maybe I'm too defensive because it feels like more and more and more. And actually lately talking with you guys and doing more of these type of shows has actually helped because I've been able to vent on the show and I don't carry it. I after I'm done with these, I don't even think about it really.
Yeah,
and
good.
I don't participate. I'll go over to Backwoods once in a while to listen to what he's saying because I honestly believe, and you guys can say what you want, and this is my opinion, and it does have value. All right. But I honestly believe that he does not want to be what he's representing right now. And he just doesn't know how to get out of it. He's doing what he knows through habit and through his environment. If he was given other options or other directions or somebody that was like, if the other part of that equation over there was somebody more positive, was more direction orientated in a community base, etc., I think that he would latch onto him and you would see somebody who's totally different. And this is not meant to be derogatory, but he's a follower and not a leader.
Okay.
I kind of agree with you, but I'm going to tell you from my point of view, he's let so many people say so many heinous things about me and said, "Oh, I'd like to know more about that," like the molestation thing that they made up. No quarter from this guy. Sorry. You put yourself in the loop, and if you're going to continue to get spun in the loop until you crack, man, I don't have any pity for somebody that does stuff like that. You said I'm very patient. That's true. I'm very patient. He should keep that in mind since he's been fucking with me so much or letting other people fuck with me and being passive about it and allowing it to happen. So that's his problem. He's done this to himself. He's going to have to deal with the consequences. It's real simple.
Well, and that's part of the environment is he's never been held accountable and he doesn't quite identify with the consequences. He thinks that it's a negative. He thinks it's cause and effect. He doesn't see it as consequences or him taking responsibility for his action. He doesn't identify with that. He just thinks it's a natural course of cause effect.
He's being held accountable by me for what's been said. There's none of this, "Oh, I'm just going to stop messing with Dave and everything's going to be okay." No. That's not how it works. You said so many things that you should apologize for. I mean, sincerely apologize for. And just because it was other people doing it on your channel, that's not acceptable to me. And you were mocking me along with him, so let's not forget that. Plus, you also threatened to have me killed. That doesn't help you at all. Considering that I'm around my family all the time and they could get hurt because maybe one of these lunatics over here tries to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And not that, and I'm not going to speak for you, Dave. I'm not. But a wise man would suggest to the individual that if he did want to actually stop any kind of discontent between you and him, that he would actually at least offline make an attempt to have dialogue, constructive dialogue with you and start there of what needs to be done and then do public apology. That would be a good base to start with. And again, I'm not speaking for Dave because I know he's listening, but I'm not speaking for Dave. I would just advise anybody that it would probably be a good course of action to start not a public conversation because it'll go bad because you're going to get influenced. The minute I've noticed this, and it's not just him, I noticed that the minute that there's an attempt for public apology, that these chat rooms start to influence, and then all this other crap starts to get into play, and it goes south really quick. If you're going to have actual dialogue between two people before it's public, it should be a private conversation where it's grilled out without external influences and it's not mediated by anybody, but it's true heartfelt. Okay, this is where I want to go with this, and you're communicating effectively, and then go to the public apology. That would be a good base. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to have a conversation with me. We can have it offline. That's fine. But I'm gonna tell you right now, There's going to be a public apology in your future if you want this to stop. Seriously, stop. If you don't like the conflict, you don't like being tied up in knots, or as Mexican Jew says, wait until you weigh about 50 pounds and you just look like an emaciated skinny on a white version of one of the skinnies on Black Hawk Down. Because I will wait for it to happen, and I don't feel sorry for you. You said really ugly things. You've made threats. And until you come to me and you approach me and you're honest and sincere about it, and I'll know the difference, then I don't feel sorry for you at all, and I don't forgive you either. And I love this is an old hobo trick. The hobo would do this with you. He'd say, Dave doesn't forgive. No, not when you say hateful things. I'm not going to forgive you. You can apologize, and then we'll forgive. And then they say, well, it's my opinion. No, that's not an opinion. An opinion is anchored in a fact. If you don't have a fact to back up the opinion, it's not an opinion. It's just a lie. That's the difference.
You know, and
can I say something now since it's my
No, just wait. Just wait a minute. Because we're on a subject, and I want to back up Dave on what he just said. All right?
Uh-huh. I'm good.
I would say 99% of people know that Dave and I are friends. All right?
Yeah.
We talk a lot offline, a lot more offline than we ever do online. And Dave and I are in conflict at times. He doesn't like the things I say. I don't like the things he says sometimes. We have dialogue. He gets pissed at me and all manginy, and I get pissed at him, but I'm not manginy. And we have conflict and we butt heads, right? But we communicate and we talk through it. It doesn't necessarily mean he's bowing to my opinion or I'm bowing to his opinion, but nobody knows about that shit. Nobody knows about the conflict we have. He doesn't drag me through the gravel. I don't drag him through the gravel. And it is what it is. It's called, you know, there's different degrees of relationship, and ours is a higher level of relationship, but we have to communicate in order to develop that. We have to communicate it to keep it simple. And you can't have the expectation you're not going to piss people off. You're gonna, but you got to be able to recover from it. So he does forgive. That was my point. He does forgive.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%. When it comes to a real serious relationship, like what you're talking about, what you and I have, because we're open and honest about, you know, our disagreements, and we try to keep everything as real as possible when we're one-on-one. Some of these guys can't do that. They don't know how to handle that kind of constructive criticism, because that's really what it is constructive criticism. And we don't always see eye to eye on things, and sometimes we don't agree on everything, but we never, in the end, we never take it so far that we can't pull away from the precipice, man. We always go right before that sometimes. Most of the time it's pretty civil. And then we reel it back in, and it's like no harm, no foul. We get up, dust ourselves off, and we're good. So we don't really fight, I wouldn't say, but we talk it through, and it's good to have somebody to have those discussions with. And we both know where each other's coming from because we've both been there, and that's why we're allowed. That's why we can pull this off, frankly.
Yeah. And honestly, I have conversations with Dave that there's only one other person that I mean, I gotta be honest, you know, Gib and I are tight, but you know, our relationship is new. I've known Dave longer than I've known Gib. And I've talked to Dave about issues or things. And it wasn't too long ago, I actually had a little bit of an event that got me down. And I kind of, you know, I was reaching out to Dave, and Dave didn't, you know, quite, but he did end up like helping me through it a little bit. And but it was good. So there's shit that I talk about to him that I don't talk about to anybody else.
Okay, now let me say something.
Oh, God.
Now, since you're having this dialogue, are you publicly offering to teach and mentor Backwoods Boy on how to communicate?
Oh, fuck no, dude. I got other things to do, man. I'm saying that he needs somebody locally. He needs more influence than anything I can give. All right. And I don't mean that derogatory. Like, if he reached out to me and wanted to talk, I would definitely do that. All right. I would definitely talk with him. But it's not me that he needs to be talking to. It honestly, if he wants to get both a bridge built, stop the bullshit with Dave, honestly, it could probably be Dave that he reaches out to and get a little bit more constructive dialogue with, because sometimes I can't identify. I don't have the life experience. You need to understand, I was 17 years old when I went in the military. I do not have the life experience to give to somebody that's not in the military. Dave's at least worked outside the military. And I'm just being honest. All right. I'm not trying to be, self-deprecating or anything like that. I'm just trying to say I don't have the ability to, connect or really, relate to somebody who has not A, been in the military, or B, to the extent of the civilian lifestyle that they lived. Honestly.
I don't know if he'll be able to relate to me worth a shit, because my civilian life was spent in a designer executive suit, man. I don't know.
Well, but it's still, you've had a little bit more. No, politics is politics. I get that, in the work state. But but you've at least had a different experience than I have. I've not, dude. I'm having my first civilian experience with a job, and it's gonna be fucking Taco Bell. I mean, granted, that's there's a dual purpose for that, but I need some cash to take home, and I want to have that experience and vlog it. I think it'd be interesting.
I think so too.
Punch
You
out
might,
the fucking.
you might see the hobo in the VIP section.
I'm in Oklahoma, dude. I'm actually living in Lawton right now. I'm not in Tulsa.
Yay, Lawton.
Yeah.
San Antonio North.
Yeah, San Antonio North.
Take 281 and just keep fucking going.
Hey, you're gonna go
I wish it
down.
was in San Antonio.
You're gonna go down and see all the drunk Apache women down at the VFW while you're there.
Damn, man.
No, I think.
Damn, racist much there, Baggy Life?
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I can say that because my great grandmother was.
I
Native.
don't know you.
Oh my God!
Wow.
No, he just said my great grandmother was Elizabeth Warren.
Oh,
Hey, I dated-
you beat me to the punchline.
Hey, I dated a Native American because I live in North Dakota, man. So I dated girls from like Standing Rock and that were Sioux. Man, they're crazy, man. I would never date probably a Native American again. Never. They got a lot of problems.
I was born and raised in Arizona, and my grandmother. Now I'm Muskogee Creek, but my mother had divorced my father and remarried to White Mountain Apache. And we'd go on the White Mountain Apache reservation, and I used to get my fucking ass kicked because I was the only white boy on the block, and I would get my ass beat the fuck up. So I get the whole, just because I'm being profiled because I'm Caucasian, but I got, I mean, I get it. But I'll tell you one thing: there's some hot ass chicks that come from the White Mountain Apache tribe, dude.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of even in North Dakota, there was a lot of girls that were beautiful from the Sioux. I mean, I even lived like when I was there, I even lived part time on the res on Standing Rock. So I know how it goes, man. And it's just that they got a lot of problems, man. On especially over there on the reservations, there are so many problems, man. Over there, it's pretty bad.
Everybody asks why I didn't ever pursue the tribe. Well, no, I have my roll. I have my roll card. I've got my card, everything like that. But I never pursued an education through the tribal council because people don't quite understand how that works. It's like the military. You are not going to go get a free education and not have to pay something back. And it's usually going on to, especially if you're in the medical or public health, you're going to have to go back and give a certain amount of time. Have you ever lived on a reservation? Well, besides you, Mexican Jew. if you have not ever lived on a reservation, there is no fucking way. And I'm not trying to be derogatory. There's no fucking way I'm going to live on a reservation.
Yeah, I couldn't do it that long. I just couldn't do it because the girl I was with, her dad had passed and she owned a bunch of land, but I just could not do it, man. There's nothing to do. It's just so boring, man.
And all they do is drink.
Yep. He's absolutely right.
Drinking,
yep,
I mean, all the day. I mean, just drugs are just all over especially over there. There was a lot of heroin addicts. I mean,
and you think cheese is bad in Philippines? Holy shit!
Yeah, true that.
One of my coworkers in the UAE had to go home. He was married to a Ho Chunk in Wisconsin, a woman that was in the Ho Chunk tribe, and her father finally killed himself with alcohol because he was so severely diabetic. He finally died, and they're just kind of waiting for him, hanging on. He's like, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore." He's just guzzling down the fire water, man. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, the girl I was with, man. The girl I was with, 3 of her uncles died all of alcoholism in their 50s and 40s, all of them. I mean, alcoholism runs bad. I mean, they drink. They have a thing down there because I used to do heating and AC work out there, and we would cross these railroad tracks on Standing Rock, and there'd be a bunch of Lysol cans all over the railroad tracks.
Oh my god!
Now, why in the fuck is there Lysol cans? And I asked one of the guys, he was, and they make Lysol sandwiches out of them, man, and they eat them. And they get drunk off it, I'm like, holy shit, man! Yeah.
Well, I can't say that because my great grandmother was an Iroquois from New York City, and she was actually one of the last that were educated at the Carlisle Indian School. So, I mean, they kind of turned out okay. Everybody in the East kind of turned out okay with casinos and cigarettes. That's the big thing. They sell cheap cigarettes and make their own.
Yeah, it seems like they made out better than like the tribes like up in North Dakota.
Yeah, we had the Muskogee Creek had an uprising, and the troops came in, and there was another accord that went on, but there was a part of the tribe that was not willing to come to the table, and they had moved southward. And honestly, I think what probably happened is they got absorbed or wiped out by the Comanches. But that was the side of the tribe that I was on, was the ones that moved down to Texas. That's why most of my dad's side of the family is all in Texas or Louisiana. They so I was trying to be kind of a smart ass on my first my 08-09 deployment, and I had appealed to Muskogee Creek Tribal Council to reinstate, right, just for heritage purposes, our claim on tribal council. And because the verbiage in the Constitution in Muskogee Creek is, it doesn't matter how many percentage you are, because I'm pushing a little over 40% on my Indian blood. It doesn't matter if you were not the treaty signer and in possession of the original 40 acres that was given and lived on those 40 acres, you do not have rights to Muskogee Creek Nation or to council, period. So we're lost tribe. We're all wandering and we have nothing. I got a roll card and everything else, but I have no government to report to. And then they say, well, why don't you go over to the Chickasha? They take anybody.
I mean, I was like, in the one tribe, I can't think of the name of them. They're up in Massachusetts. They bought up all the Hard Rock cafes.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I can't think. Peak. I can't. They were on that the guy did that Undercover Boss. I can't think of the name of it. They own the Mohican Sun.
Well, I do know the Seminoles, I think, or something like that, out of Florida. They're supposedly opening up casinos in other countries.
Yeah, they're the ones. No, the Seminoles bought the Hard Rock, but they partnered with the same ones that have the Mohican Sun.
Well, Baggy
Yeah.
Life, if you call
Died
Elizabeth
and lost
Warren, she'll tell you who that tribe is in Massachusetts. Okay, bro.
Okay. I mean, honestly, my great grandmother was ostracized after she married my great grandfather because she went to live in New York on a college education, making like $3 a week cleaning rich people's houses, and he was an Irishman from Hell's Kitchen. So I can never figure that one out.
know that in the dialogue, right, to the point in crossing it over, the act. Well, remember, Dave? Remember, recently we had a conversation about genetic diets and how the current influence of Western foods in the Philippines is making fat Filipinos.
Oh yeah, it's gotten exponentially worse in the last few years.
And it's also in the Middle East.
Well, I think that. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to say we're talking specifically about here. So what were you going to say? You think what?
I think that the using the Native Americans as a model is a perfect example of what happens when you have genetic diets set and then you start influencing for them it would have been a European diet, bread, high calories, sugars, and alcohol. Look at what it did to them. Diabetes, alcoholism, and all the metabolic disorders that are affiliated with that. That's exactly what's going on in the Philippines. Same shit.
Well, here can I ask a question?
Because your channel.
Okay, my channel. I'm going to ask a question. I don't like to butt in, but when you two get talking, it's hard to get a word in. My father-in-law, okay, eats the old Filipino traditional way. Could that be part of the reason why it's long life, or is that genetic?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It is because they ate entirely healthier back then. It wasn't nearly as much rice, but it was always like dried fish and a little bit of whatever type of vegetable they had on hand and a little bit of fruit, and that was it. But now it's go to McDonald's, go to Jollibee's, go to KFC, go wherever you want. You get a meal with a piece of fried chicken, a big old pile of rice, and a scoop of that Filipino sugary spaghetti every time, and you get fries on the side too. So that is the main meal that these young people are eating now. It's not so much the older people, but it's the young people that like, hey, I'll take you out for this really crappy food, and oh yeah, thanks, because they get to go out and eat something.
Mm-hmm. Well, he does the crappy food like occasionally, but when he is home, his meals are the boiled vegetables, the boiled meat.
Yeah.
Everything's changed in the last few decades.
But what you're talking about, the type 2 diabetes, is the same thing I watched about the Middle East, that you got fat Arabs now because the fact is that they got all this convenient fast food.
I don't mean anything, but I'm not really worried about the Arabs right now.
The biggest difference, okay, let's just put this one to bed then. The biggest difference between these two cultures is one is because of decadence and one is because of commercialism. The Middle East, the reason is because of oil decadence. That's the reason they eat all this fast food. They're becoming lazy. In the Philippines, it's about commercialism. I'm not trying to stereotype, but let's be realistic about it. The whole we come up with these phrases like millionaire for a day and all this other stuff. There's reasons behind it. There's reality in these little catchphrases that the people use here for each other, by the way. And I think a lot of it is commercialism, is why the diet's changing around here, because the poorer elements of the population here, this is just me guessing, feels that look at me, we're out eating and look at how important we are, selfie time and stuff like that.
No, that's you just nailed it. You nailed it right on the head with that, because the downfall with the Philippine health, right? And it's to a point where now it is a public health issue with the growing costs of diabetes, the growing cost of obesity, in the United States, that, where you live Dave, San Antonio used to be one of the fattest cities in the country, but they took an active. They did a public health campaign where they started identifying it, teaching, getting people out there, promoting people, all the green belts and the parks. And the city was even doing festivals and art shows in order to get people outside walking, everything. Now their public health risks have reduced by like 1,000%. That San Antonio.
Okay.
You talk about 1 second. You talk about a comparison and contrast, man. Think about how that city got fat. Those indigenous people, those what they call the mestizos or Mexican people there, had a completely different diet. And then the Germans and the Czechs came in, introduced flour, and they started making their tortillas out of flour, and introduced all this other stuff that they wouldn't normally eat, cheese, sour cream, and it just completely. That's what Tex-Mex food is based on. It's like an amalgamation of German and Jalisco food. It's really weird.
Okay. And now when you look at the dietary, when you look at what's available down there, you still have Tex-Mex. Man, come on, that's core.
It is.
Everybody's going to go at least once a week and get it. But then you turn around and you've got all the health food influences, between the stores and what's available at the grocery stores, what's available at the restaurant options now, and you still have good German food that's available, but they're learning to do things in moderation. They're learning and they're also learning to get, or they have learned to be more active. And I think that is a perfect example of the success of how public health education can influence a community. And that's what needs to happen in the Philippines. They need to start making spending some money on public health education so the BCD doesn't become such an issue like it was in the San Antonio.
Okay, let's welcome Roberto Dunn. He can give us a little brief on his dialogue today on the show.
Hey guys, what's up?
Howdy.
Hey,
Dave, Johnny.
We're talking about tolerance and dialogue.
Yeah. Why don't you tolerate and let him give his dialogue?
Okay, here goes my dialogue. I went on there because I was pissed at Jay, and I wanted an answer from him. So I figured, hey, since he put the link out in his chat, so I thought maybe I'd get on. But I didn't know I was going to get bombarded by a bunch of freaking rednecks from North Dakota. If you call anyone in North Dakota rednecks, they're either Indians or Canadians, so I don't know where he comes from calling himself redneck. I mean, he can pass for a redneck. He's a pretty big guy. I mean, he's probably your size, Johnny.
A lot of inbreds out there in North Dakota, man. I lived out there before.
Who's probably?
I have a brother-in-law in North Dakota. He's on my wife's side, so he's white, so he's got to be North Dakota. I think that's all there is up there. It says Indians or Native Americans. I'm sorry.
Guess what? There are black people up there.
Oh, my wife says there's a lot of black people up there too.
Yeah, in Mandan. That's where I lived. I lived in Mandan. I was right outside of Bismarck. Yeah. A lot of
what exactly happened on the show?
Well, I mean, I went on. I wanted to get an explanation from Jay why he, put out pictures of my son-in-law, to my son-in-laws, and which I didn't mind him doing that because it's fair game, and everything is public record anyway. So it's like he's not really gonna make me so afraid. I gotta hide my house. No, I mean I went on there to get his explanation, and then I get bombarded by this freaking North Dakota redneck. His name is I forgot now. Todd, I think.
Todd, yeah.
He gave me his phone number. He wants me to call him when I'm ready to go to the Philippines. Well, he said he's going to be there in October 20-something. And so he gave me that. But typical freaking redneck, man. He gets a little juice in him, he's all brave and stuff. He does. Nobody that size scares me. I mean, yeah, I might, get my ass whooped, tell you the truth, but I'm going to give him a good fight. I mean, I'll bloody him up too.
Did you get an answer
Samoans,
out of Jay?
Yeah, he got an answer. He's saying that because I'm associated with you guys, and that you put out his family member and stuff, that it was okay for him to do with mine.
That's retarded.
Which I can, yes, but I can understand where he's coming from there. Guilt by association.
I don't fly with that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but that pissed me off when he did that to me, because I was willing to let him do anything he wants. Put up all photos of me, 400 pounds ago, stuff like that. Make fun of me. That's okay. It's fair game. It doesn't make me lose any sleep at all. But when he starts putting out photos of personal stuff, like with my son-in-law at his marriage with my daughter, then yeah, that's that pissed me off. So I told him, this war.
See, Dave, that's here we are again with my question again. How in the fuck? I'm telling you right now, I must be guilty by association too, because I'm on and off these shows as well. Maybe my opinion varies a little differently, but I have been critical to the both of them. So I'm telling you right now, put a fucking picture publicly of my junk like that, and no, and it ain't gonna. I'm sorry, it won't be. Yeah, no. How the fuck do you guys deal with that shit? How do you do it? And Roberto, you're being so nonchalant about it. I get it, but again, that's my issue. That's the stuff that I'm in conflict with. I'm trying to better myself, become a better individual, so I can control that. But my first urge is that if somebody was going to do that to me, it's this whole scorched earth thing again. And I just don't understand.
Johnny, I mean, it's my fault too, because I've played along with it. So I'm playing along with it. So it's fair game. I don't blame him a bit for doing that. And I don't really care. That's what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to do that, because I'm this game playing a drama queen and all that. And so, yeah, I expect him to do that. But when he did that with that couple of those pictures, then that drew my attention.
Did I just hear you right, Roberto? Did you just actually acknowledge that you were a ladyboy game player with a drag queen kind of sensation thing going on? Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, I admit it.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm a drag queen. I'm a drag queen. I admit
You
it.
heard it here first on Baggill Live, folks.
At least he didn't find any of those pictures with me with a dress or,
Oh, wow.
ladyboy tendencies, and stuff like that. But yeah.
You and JLB walking down the road or something like that?
Yeah, holding hands, scratching each other's balls.
Hey, I was actually on his show the other day, man, to be honest. I went on for a little bit, man. He's a character. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's one way of describing him.
JLB's.
I don't know, man. I think JLB would be fun to hang out with. I do. I think hear me out. I think because of his uniqueness, it would be completely entertaining watching his interactions. And remember, a lot of what this show tonight is about society's tendency to want to see the rubberneck the wreck, or see the dead body, or watch the train derail. So I think it would be extremely entertaining and fun to hang out with him, to watch what's going to happen next.
So would it be unique and entertaining when you woke in the morning trying to pull something out of your ass?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
what
never,
exactly. What the
never
fuck are you gonna
once
do?
said I would put myself in a situation
What?
where I'm going to be
What are you gonna do if he ether bunnies you? What are you gonna do then if he becomes the ether bunny?
Oh man, see, that's all messed up now, guys.
Popeye.
Popeye,
I'm just saying, if all of us got together and we added the JLB mix into it, do not tell me it would not be an epic night.
No, it wouldn't. You know why?
No.
I'm going to tell you why. Exactly why. Because he's always looking for an angle on how he can leverage a way to hold information against you and make you do things for him. That's what he does. That's his whole MO. Is trying to leverage information out of people. He tried to screw Aloe and I over on the original Quinton and Ballou show by planting Fat Boy Professor X on there. And I just kept him on just to mock JLB, but at the same time, we just kind of shit on him the rest of the time he was on the show.
And to answer Popeye's question, Popeye, Johnny already spoons with Gib when they travel.
I don't know anything about that. And
He admits it.
You're in
Damn,
on that,
Eric.
You know, I don't know anything about that.
Damn, Eric, you're like that Killjoy guy that's always just raining all over everything, man. What if they said that shit about you? Anyway, I got new information here. You be trying to change the subject like a motherfucker, man. Anyway, I don't want to talk about spooning right now.
No, Eric's just jealous because, you know, Gib and I are so secure in our masculinity that we publicly, openly hold hands in public. And it causes an awkward moment for, you know, Eric because he really wants a hug and he's just not part of that circle.
And don't forget your soft, supple bosom, too, okay?
It's soft, supple nipples.
Oh, excuse
Say it. Soft, supple nipple.
Supple nipple.
Yay!
So
Wow,
who's
remember
the
this
female and
one.
who's the male in the
Tricks.
relationship?
Oh, there is none, man. When you try to go qualify for your short tab, your real tab, you have to have at least spooned with 5 guys before you even get to the course.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys ever tried to get Bob Cooper on?
Who the fuck is Bob Cooper?
I've offered to have Bob
hilarious.
Cooper on
hilarious,
Riff Rap
dude.
before. Yeah, we've
hilarious.
I actually used to talk to Bob on Facebook back in the Big Kevin War days. Yeah, I actually don't mind Bob Cooper. He's actually quite a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he come on Kevin's show one time with a freaking. I remember one time Alice sent me the link to Kevin's show, and I hopped on there. Kevin's getting all uncomfortable. And, hey, Dave, you know what? And trying to talk shit, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! And then I sent Bob the link, and Bob comes on with a fucking Lucha Libre mask on. Kevin's all stressing out. He's popping pills and shit, going, I need my happy pills.
Oh man. Yeah, he's actually. I guess he's going back to the Philippines too, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who, Bob Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, I thought he was still there.
You know, I keep inviting all you, like anybody. Hey, come on up to Solano for a visit. And why doesn't anybody ever come up there?
Because I'm too cheap, and you got to come to immigration anyway. So I see you.
Are you gonna be back out there in Solano when you go back?
Yeah, that's where I live, bro.
Oh yeah, I'll be going. I'll shoot out there for sure, man.
Yeah, come on up, man.
Yeah,
It's not. I mean, don't expect fucking Cebu nightlife, but it's definitely.
Nah, that's all right, man. You got to get away from that anyway every once in a while, anyway, man.
Yeah, it's quiet and fucking. It's nice. Now, I've had I honestly, I'm going to preface this whole next part of this conversation with the Asawa is pregnant. So, of course, there's a lot of, hormone and stuff like that going on. So, she, over the last week, has been drilling my ass, saying how she misses Cebu, how she misses... Eric and I just had a conversation about this the other day. How she's missing the beach and all this other crap. Now, I think part of this is the hormones kind of going on, but I also know the reality is she does want to move out of Solano, but we need to have a house there before we move. But she's about tired of Solano, and I have a feeling that we're going to probably end up in the medium to long term somewhere else. I just have I personally don't know what it is. She seems to have made up her mind that it's going to be in Cebu. So, and I think a little bit of that is, here's some news. Do you guys remember Haney?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Haney's got a new boyfriend.
Is he at least a good boyfriend?
He is. Do you guys remember me talking about my flight instructor when I got my pilot's license?
No.
At all?
No.
His name, well, I don't want to say his name. I've known this guy for 24 years, and he is the man. And they hit it off. It's good to go. And this guy, he is solid, and she's solid. And I don't know why the hell I didn't see it in the first place, but it is a perfect match, and they're doing so damn good right now. He's moving in August to the Philippines, and go right off into the sunset. I'm so stoked about that, dude. That is a positive thing.
She definitely deserves better than that bald shitbag that she was with.
Yeah. No, this guy's still class act. Yeah. Well, he's got his commercial pilot's license, so he's not looking for a whole new career, but he'll be able to easily figure out a way to get a work permit and work legally in the Philippines and do domestic jumps or charter jumps. So he's going to do good, and he's really smart. He's also an IT guy. So
here's the question: does he actually have a man card, unlike the other one?
The dude's got a man card, man.
I'd say if he's a pilot, he does. You have to be an alpha to be a pilot. Period.
Hell yeah.
Now,
a question.
I don't know,
there, buddy boy. I want to know right now: are you a top or a bottom there, Baggio Life?
What?
No comment. I plead the fifth.
Okay.
All right.
I exercise my right.
Okay. So a quick little story. When this was post ground school, about to go do my checkoffs and stuff like that. We were doing some flying over in an area that was east of Mesa, Arizona, out in a training ground that, everybody would go out there and we'd fly. We had some friends that were down there boondocking and doing some shooting, and we had flown over, and we were in a little Cessna 150, and he had seen these guys, and that dude died. And this is so illegal, and I don't want to, but that dude came down, and you want to talk about balls? He came down map of Earth and dipped down off map of Earth to the point he was low enough to where he had to dip raise the starboard wing to go over a mesquite. That's how low he was. That dude has cojones, and he can hug any surface. Like, we would go down canyons and all kinds of stuff. That dude can fly better than anybody I've known. I don't know why he ever did not go into he wanted to be a commercial pilot, but he was born to be a fighter pilot. He would have done excellent.
Let me know when he's flying in case he wants to take like a 747 extended, and try to fly nap and hug the ground.
Well, now
that way I won't be on the flight.
I'll put this out now, by the way. I think it's February of 2019, the Baguio Airport is going to be reopened.
Fuck that place. I'd rather bus in than fly into that dangerous-ass airport.
Well, they're actually redoing the runway. They're putting all new radar in. They're redoing the tower, the terminal.
Yeah, there's only one fundamental problem. There's one quintessential problem here. That's the giant fucking cross draft as you're coming in for an approach.
Oh, it's dangerous, huh? I didn't.
Well,
yeah. I walked out there with Eric one time. In the runway, at the end of the runway, it just literally drops off the side of the mountain.
On approach and landing.
Holy shit.
Fuck that. I take a bus up there every time and save myself the ass pain.
I don't know. I'd sure in the hell want to fly. We used to go around and fly into these small, obscure public airports all over the place. One of them, we had to come in and come between two stacks off of smelters, because it was in Arizona, a lot of old mining towns. And the stacks were so high, and the approach, you had to actually fly between the two stacks. So we would try to find these difficult, like Sedona, that's a drop off. And we fly into these airports, and I would, gain more and more experience. So when you're talking about Baguio, that's actually an airport I wouldn't mind trying to do a landing in.
Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of fun.
Have fun.
On a small aircraft. Come on, Dave. Me and you.
Nope. Sorry. I'm going to tell you something.
Buddy.
The only flight experience I have is flying a chopper in Battlefield Vietnam or on like Microsoft Flight Simulator, where I'm like, this is your pilot speaking. We'll be flying at a level of 100 feet over the city of Chicago. Retarded shit like that. We're going to try to do a barrel roll with the 767. I'm not gonna. I'm very, very much a nervous flyer these days. I don't know when the change took place. I suspect it took place on the way out of Victory to Ali Al Salim, because there was a little fun getting up into the air that time, and then the re-approach into Victory to go back out to my forward base. It was a little hairy that way too.
Were they doing the combat slides where they're zigging in to come in on that approach, and then at the last minute they straighten out and freaking?
Oh yeah, but they actually lit off some flares.
Yeah. Because those C-130s, they come in at a high altitude speed drop, and then they do the freaking zigzagging coming in, those S-curves, combat S-curves coming in to straighten out and pull full flaps at the end, and that stuff is like, oh damn!
God, that trip to Canada from Seoul, Korea, Korean Airlines was just a shitstorm, man. They were riding the jet stream. I'll bet those Korean pilots put on cowboy hats and went yeehaw the entire trip, because this turbulence was so fucking severe. People were praying out loud. I'm like, okay, it's just turbulence. Even I know it's turbulence.
Actually, I've went through that Incheon airport. I think it's fucking like top notch.
I didn't like it. It's fancy and stuff like that, but the old Incheon was much more accessible. All they've done is put a bunch of high-end shops in there. I couldn't find one tour shirt for Korea for my niece. I was getting, how the young kids here, they all want something that's got Korean writing on it. I couldn't find a goddamn shirt that had any Korean writing on it anywhere. All I found was Prada and expensive perfume and handbags. It's Asia,
Yeah. Well, just get a T-shirt that says "Made in Korea."
K-pop must be K-pop fan.
They're all K-pop fans here.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. Because I'm actually contemplating, once I get the 13 Alpha thing situated, trying to get a work permit or something like that, where I could go and get. I'm assuming, because you can do this. United States does it. I am only assuming. I don't know, and I haven't done 100% of the research, but I would look into taking a commercial flight school course in the Philippines, just to get like twin engine. I don't want jet or commercial jet, just commercial for charter twins with ILS rating. So you got your VFR and your ILS instrument landing, for your low vis and everything, and have that all set up, and maybe do charters with this buddy of mine. That would be kind of fun. That'd be cool. Doing the island hopping thing.
It sounds fun. Hey, I got a bail, man. Thanks for having me on, guys, and I'll
thanks
talk to
for
you guys
coming
later.
on, Dave.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. It's been entertaining.
Dialogue.
Yep.
Hug.
So, actually, Mexican Jew, to get to his house, it's easier if you come to my house first, where I live, and take the Bamma comment over.
No, don't do
Okay.
it. Don't do it. Shh. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And actually, when you were talking about your 13 Alpha, you're going to handle that after the 16th?
Yeah, immediately when I come home.
Okay, because the sergeant major's been hearing you talk about it, and she's on my ass. When's that going to happen? I need to know so I can take care of things. I'm like, he's still in the States.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably try and because remember I'm going to Vietnam September 10th,
Yeah.
right? So I would like to drop the package before then. If I can't, it will be immediately upon return from Vietnam because we're only in Vietnam for like 8 days, 9 days.
Okay. All right. I'm just because actually it would
What
be
part
easier
of
to go.
Nam are you going to?
Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon.
Okay.
We're
Where
gonna
you
stay
going to
there.
jump in first?
What am I gonna what?
Where you going to fly into first?
Directly from Manila
Into
to
Ho Chi Minh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. The Airbnb that we're going to use is about 5 kilometers. Well, it's in the downtown area, kind of close to the river. So it'll be because the whole point of it is photo, right?
And
feeding
food.
the foodie side. You know that when it comes to the Asawa. And then I'll vlog it and I'm going to do the same type of series that I did. It'll be on Thursdays about Ho Chi Minh City and everything to do there that I did in Thailand.
Okay. I really liked your Thailand vlogs. They were good. They were good.
I
man.
appreciate it, but it doesn't seem like they were very popular, dude.
Well,
every one of
because
them are less than 200.
they were missing a element that most, I would just say most Philippine bloggers like. And
What, the pussy?
yeah, you weren't showing the gecko bar, the mean streets.
No,
You were
man.
actually showing culture and fine art and a actual reasonably good time. That's what you were showing. There was no drinking, puking, or anybody farting or burping in your face or anything like that.
No, you ain't gonna get that on those vlogs because there's a whole see now probably while I'm gone, no, he'll have started school, but here shortly, maybe even this week, it's gonna be pretty much all Gib, like this week and next week. Because I'm trying to give him as much airtime before he goes to school. Because when he starts school, he's not going to have the time to vlog, and I'm going to have to carry it. So I'm trying to get him to post as much as possible so that he can get it out. But he will still vlog because a lot of people are interested on how, that school life is.
Yeah. Hey, and I do want to thank you. Thank you for taking such good care of Haney. You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Oh, thank you, man. It wasn't, thank you. I appreciate that. But also give credit to the other two that were involved. Gibbs, the Asawa and her sister really emotionally supported her through that whole thing and helped her out. So
I just know you're the tip of the spear on that, and it's appreciated. I like to see things like that.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm so happy for her. I just don't know why I didn't think of that earlier.
Gonna have to shoot her a message and say congrats.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It is a very good thing, and I think it's good, period, because now you have no matter how small it is, because she's got an extended family. She's got a lot of brothers and an extended family. Now you have a foreigner coming in that'll be a positive influence rather than leaving a bad taste.
That's what's needed.
Yes. And that's how we're going to be able to basically at a grassroots level, right, start changing this public opinion that's growing against expats is have expats that are doing positive things.
That's exactly why I route against fucking e-beggars and scammers.
Yeah. They sometimes your route will have collateral damage because we're getting kind of caught up in that whole, a lot of the people that are out there will come in and start chirping in like, oh, what is this, a scam? Transparency. I mean, the last video Gib put out, about the whole Operation Backpack, I think he did a really good job showing exactly where the money went.
Yeah, he did.
And the next one is going to be today is the day that they passed them out, and by the way, it went very well. Very happy kids, and they all got fed. I know I said it earlier. Roberto wasn't on though, so the 109 backpacks were given. There is another 4 or 5 that need to be bought because the roster grew at the last minute of the last couple days.
Yeah.
So they're going out by Wednesday. Those kids will have their backpacks. But
that's why you only hear out of me, congratulations. You guys are doing a good job. I know you're fucking solid, man. I know that for a fact. I know you're fucking solid. And if anybody says anything to me, I just like, dude, you're wrong. Go back over there in the corner and drool on yourself again. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. By the way, JW, you're welcome. I handled the transportation.
Oh, we gave you credit, man. We appreciate that you did that, man. We appreciate it a lot. Because the more we can cut corners, right, with the money, the more the money can go to where it needs to go. Because, look, just on the deal sending the money, collecting and sending the money, I lost 60 American dollars. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about, that's about 4 backpacks, all right? Because GoFundMe takes a percentage out of the money that you collect right off the bat. So we lost $30 out of the first $860. I lost $30 right off the bat. Okay, or 37, and then I lost $30 in the 2 transfers because it's $15 a transfer, sending the money to the Philippines. So we lost, $67 right off the bat because of costs.
Yeah, it's amazing how everybody wants their cut.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. I gotta go, you guys. But nice speaking with you guys, huh?
Mexican Jew, right. When you get over here, we need to compare G files.
All right, bro, for sure.
Later.
All right, man. Later, man.
And Popeye, can I chime in for a second because I'm forget. I can witness the fact that it was all transparent because I was there. And the funniest thing about the whole day, the second vendor, who was a half-speaking Tagalog Chinese doing business there, he did not know what to make of Miss Warrior. he like owned this motherfucker. That's how funny it was.
Yeah, she.
When it comes to money. Go ahead, guys. That's all great, and like I say again, and I say it, you all did a great job. And I enjoyed watching it. I enjoy watching Johnny's vlogs, and simple as that. But before I go, I just want to say I got a little warm and fuzzy feeling. A few people are going to be raising the white flag soon and calling it a day, and that's all I got to say about that. And I'll just tell you in closing, take it to the bank.
How much do you think I can get out of it if I take it to the bank?
A lot
at
of
least
Bitcoin.
$67.
A lot of Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. All right, man.
All right,
take it
easy. Okay.
Be cool. Popeye out.
Yeah.
All right, later.
He had to go paint the nursery.
So
hey,
how about you, Roberto?
Yes, sir.
How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm still recovering from my surgery. I should be back to work here pretty soon.
When's the next time you go to the Philippines?
Well, I'm planning to do 2 trips. One with my cousins in May of next year, and then I have me by myself in around December. November, December.
Well, in both parts, December we are doing a program that we're gonna get some local vendors to support, giving us a wholesale or a discount in foods for some of the street kids. We have a pretty in deep poverty base in Solano. So you're more than welcome to come help us with that if you want to pass out some food. And in May, you may actually catch the next Operation Backpack Pass out if you want to be part of that.
Oh, you definitely want to be part of that one because I'll be there a lot longer. I'm coming down there with my cousins, so usually it's going to be quite a while.
Hey, Roberto, we're not going to talk about this now, but can you join the panel on the old channel next week? Because we're doing the whole real estate thing to kind of help JW out and a few other people out.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, I do own a couple of land, so yeah. Now
we're trying to get a good panel of people who know the Philippines real estate side, so that we can actually have a discussion that'll educate people, myself, including anybody who watches, specifically about rules and where to find information, all that stuff. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, right. And hey, I wish Gib would have filmed the look on that vendor, the Chinese guy's face, because, like I said, Miss Warrior owned his ass. He thought he was going to be a fucking pushover, and this dude did not know what to make of her.
Yeah, the only bad thing about those, they love to negotiate, man. They want to try to get everything out of. I mean,
trust me, Roberto, you need to see Miss Warrior in action. I've seen her up close.
Well, I'm sure if she's married to Johnny, I'm sure she's.
She don't take any. Dude, here's the thing: is they look at her and she's an attractive woman, and she's small, so everybody just thinks, oh yeah, and she's pretty quiet spoken. She's not very vocal, but when it comes to a couple things, like you don't talk shit about family, right? You don't try to screw her over on money, because there's. And there's something about Ilocano. You can give up Ilocano a penny and you'll get a nickel back in a week.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's something about them that they can, when it comes to money, you just don't fuck with. Just let them do what they're going to do. But people misjudge her and they think they're going to plow her over or they're going to take advantage of her. And she'll plant herself on that hill and literally die on the hill for a point. So
see, that's one of the reasons that my wife gets along with your family, because they're all Ilocano for one, and they all have the same way of thinking and those same values.
Yeah.
I mean, lucky, my wife probably be torn to pieces. You know, she she's not. She doesn't travel much or at all overseas, so she'll get eaten up. Especially some of those Filipinos, man. I mean, they are hardcore negotiators, man.
Oh yeah. I love watching her in the open market. I mean, she takes pride. She'll go with 2,500 pesos. She takes pride in getting as much for less, and she tries to do a personal best on this time I got everything for 1,500 pesos. Next time she'll try to get it under 14. So you're right. It's like some kind of weird, I don't know, fetish almost.
Well, here's the thing too, which Miss Warrior got my admiration. She was okay on the trip home, but as soon as we got to Solano, it's like, bam, the light bulb switched and the focus went to going home and doing the mother family thing.
Yeah.
Bam, gone.
Yeah.
So when you go back to PI there, Johnny?
I have my plane ticket. I leave on the 13th of August.
Of August, okay.
Do the heritage.
Yeah, dude, I got it all. I'm there for my birthday. I'm gonna stay in Manila for this through this. I'm not going back to Solano till the 17th. So
Yeah. Do the Heritage. Recommended. Breakfast is awesome.
I'm the one that told you about the buffet there.
Dude, I stayed there before you.
That don't mean nothing. You didn't get the buffet.
Not
Silly
that
ass little
time, I didn't.
freaking.
Not that time.
You've had too many concussions to the head, bro.
Don't talk about. And matter of fact, November, dude, you got to go with me. That reminds me. I'll give you the date.
All right. Okay.
I need you to hold.
All right, man.
I got to run.
I'm gonna.
Actually,
Yeah.
I got to go because I got to meet Gib in about 11 hours, 30 minutes.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right,
Hey,
take
thanks
care,
for coming
guys.
on, Roberto.
All right,
Thank you.
Roberto. Remember,
care.
Roberto, dialogue.
Okay. No
Later.
problem.
Later.
Later. All right, later.